Auzubillahi Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Today we will discuss about the osmoregulation, that is the type of homeostasis, and we will discuss about the water relations of cell. Actually, when there is more water in the outermost environment than in the cell, then the environment is called as the hypotonic. As we can say, there is less solute present outside the cell or in the extracellular fluid or in the interstitial fluid. So this is called as the hypotonic environment. And when there is more water in side the cell and there are more salts outside the cell, or we can say in the interstitial cell there are more salts or solutes, then the environment or extracellular fluid, the environment surrounding the cell will be called as the hypertonic environment, or we can say hypertonic surroundings. So here we go. Water relation of cell. Water is a solvent of solutes in cell. Each cell has been adapted to defined quantity of water relation to salts in it to perform function. Homeostasis maintains this concentration. And the next is balance of water and solutes in the body. So cell consistently encounter the changing extracellular environment. It may be of dilute solution compared to the cell concentration, and this is called as hypotonic environment. We can say there is more water present outside the cell, or we can say less salts present outside the cell, or we can say diluted external surroundings. So this is called as the hypotonic environment. And when there are more concentrated external environment, or we can say there are more salts present outside the cell and there are less water present outside the cell, this is called as the hypertonic environment. And whenever equal 50-50 salts and water distribution outside and inside the cell, and this is called as the isotonic environment. What is the effect if we place a normal cell into the hypotonic and in the hypertonic environment or in the isotonic environment? Actually, when we place the cell in the hypotonic environment, as the name suggests, there are more water present outside the cell. So due to uh, high to low tendency of water to move, so this is called as actually the turgidity of the cell, and the cell become turgid or the enlarged, and the cell become fatty and chubby, and the very sweet cell, turgid cell. And actually, when the cell is placed in the hypertonic environment, as there are more salts or less water in the external environment, so in the cell there are more water or the less salts. So water will move from the high concentration inside the cell to the low concentration outside the cell. So as a result, cell become shrinking or cell the flaccid. So we can see the behavior of plants and animal cells in these different conditions. Turgidity. If we place a cell into the hypotonic environment, as there are less salts or more water outside the cell, so the entry of the water causes the turgidity. And if there is a plant cell, the cell wall uh, constitute and contribute to the high hydrostatic effect, or the cell doesn't break its cell membrane. Or animal cell is placed in the hypotonic environment, the cell become turgid and the cell will be tear down. Animal cell, not the plant cell. So here we can start the reading. Cell consistently encounter the changing external environment. It may be of dilute solution compared to the cell concentration, thus designated as a hypotonic environment. The more concentrated external environment is termed as a hypertonic, and that resembles to the internal solution is called as isotonic. The hypotonic environment osmotically causes entry of the cell water into the cell and renders the cell solution diluted. The cell also become turgid, thus it may be harmed. The hypertonic environment, on the other hand, renders cell solution concentrated and shrinks the cell due to loss of water. To prevent these situations, osmoregulate themselves to keep water and salts balance in plants. For example, we have a a cell that is placed in the hypotonic environment, the cell become turgid, and we have a cell that is we placed in the isotonic environment, cell become normal, as there are equal or 50-50 percentages of the concentration of salts and waters. And here we place a cell into the hypertonic environment, the cell becomes shrunken. So here we go, only the three types of the cells. Before it, we should discuss about the osmoregulation in plants. There are three types of plants actually. Yeah, one is the hydrophytes, the mesophytes, and the xerophytes. Actually, the name refers the hydrophytes are the plants which are present inside the water and the ponds or the fresh water or the marine water. So these plants are called as the hydrophytes, and they have they have problem of the excess water, and they have the adaptation, or the nature has the adaptation to remove these uh, salts or water, excess water. And there are lot of number of stomata, and there are large broader surface area of the leaf for more rate of evaporation. And so these are the changes which are present only in the hydrophytes. And the problem actually is excess of water, and they have to remove the excess of water. So the hydrophytes have the adaptation to remove the flooding of its cells in fresh water. In this type, the surface area of the leaves is very large to transpire water excessively. Extensive stomata are present on the upper surface facing the atmosphere to promote the loss of water. Water lily is an example. Mesophytes are actually have the moderate supply of water, and they have two conditions actually. Okay, um, when there are more salts or water, when there is more water, they transpire or they remove it, and they retain their own or the requirements according to the requirement. But if they have loss of water or the less water, so they can restrict stomata closing, and they restrict the stomata opening, and they cause the closing. And the example are brassica and the rose. Thank you very much. Please subscribe my channel, and press the bell icon for further these kinds of lectures. Thank you.